Company.
Tonight on CTV3 News, the long Easter weekend plays witness to several incidents across the country, from a stabbing and shooting in Corozal, a deadly home invasion in the west, to a rape in San Pedro town. Police issue public warning after dangerous guns are stolen from a home in Los Lagos. The Belize Police Department in mourning. Assistant Superintendent Fitzroy Yearwood passes. And the production in LPG prices. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Tuesday, April 11th, 2023.
And now, the hottest match of the evening. Get ready for action! Here they come. Amazing! They're unstoppable, unbeatable. They have him on the ropes. The heat rises to the top. 1, 2, and 3.
They're on fire! Chiladas!
Fire up the taste of Belize with the new Chiladas Crunchy Tortilla Taco Chips in its hot chili flavor. Fiery habanero brings the heat.
They're on fire! Chiladas!
From Snackers, done right, done here.
That'll be $50. Thank you. Wait, hey, this 50 is a fake.
How do you know it's a fake?
What are you talking about, sir? How can I identify a genuine note from a fake note?
Well, a genuine 50 has a watermark with the Jaguar and the written words of the 50, also a thread.
Know your money and know a fake one when you see it. Do not rely on any one security feature. Look for the clarity and quality of printing. The printed lines and colors should be sharp and clear. Feel the quality of the paper and the raised print. Hold the note up to the light to see the windowed security thread. It should form one complete line when held up to the light. The watermark and denominational electrotype. The Jaguar is the watermark in the $100 and $50 notes. The Sleeping Giant is the watermark in the $20, $10, $5, and $2 notes. The see-through feature. The parts of the design printed on the back should fit exactly within the unprinted areas of the front to form the complete design. Check the $100 note for the toucan hologram with the periwinkle flower overprint. Tilt it to see the small images of the toucan and the numeral 100. Check the $50 note for the green foil angelfish. Check even closer. Use an ultraviolet light to see the fluorescent features. Use a magnifier to see the microlettering. Tiny letters that read Central Bank of Belize and the value of the note. Stop the circulation of counterfeit Belize currency notes. Pass all counterfeits to the police at once. It is a criminal offense to hold or use a counterfeit. Be safe, be sure, know your money.
Good evening. With your news also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7, I am Joanna Rodriguez. The long weekend was highly anticipated as it meant family reunions or at least some rest. However, it was not without incidents. We start first with a resident of Shaiba village in the Corozal district. Police visited the Corozal Community Hospital where they observed Victor Villamil with stab wounds to his body. Villamil had been socializing at a residence in the village, but he got into a verbal argument with persons he was with. Two of those individuals allegedly stabbed Villamil several times to the body. Villamil had to be transported from the Corozal Community Hospital to the Northern Regional Hospital to receive further medical attention for his wounds. Police were able to detain one person for the incident and are looking for another who can assist in their investigation. And in the second incident in the village of Shaibe in Corozal, police were called to the residence of Gilberto Tremenius on Easter Monday. Tremenius told cops that he was at home when an unknown vehicle pulled up to his yard and someone from inside fired several shots towards his house. It is a situation that has the police on vigilant mode in Corozal. Police gave the media the details at today's press briefing.
Monday, the 10th day of April 2023, around 8:30 p.m., Gilberto Tremenius reported that he was at home at Shaibe Village, Corozal District, when a pickup pulled up in front of his house. A male person came out of the vehicle and fired several shots towards his direction. Thereafter, the vehicle left the area and they fled. No one was injured, and we are seeking one suspect in regards to this shooting.
And no motive for why?
No motive at this time, no.
Police are still investigating this matter. There are reports that suggest a shooting happened at a popular bar in South End, Corozal town over the extended Easter break. CTV3 News understands that at least one male person was shot to the leg. We are told that the injured male person is the son of a customs officer who had to be taken to medical professionals to be treated for his wound. Best information available is that the father had come to check on his son and followed the shooter towards the roundabout just a block away from the hospital. However, upon encircling the roundabout, he lost control and his vehicle ended up on its side, as can be seen in the amateur video recording that was taken shortly after the accident had occurred. Fortunately, no one was seriously injured and the traffic returned to normalcy. We do note that neither the shooting or the road accident appeared on the police blotter. Apart from those three incidences, the Easter weekend was a fairly peaceful one here in the north. In the west of the country, however, a home invasion in the Cayo district on Easter Sunday left one person dead. The incident happened shortly after 9 in the morning when police received report of an aggravated burglary in the Contique area of San Ignacio. When the officers arrived in the area, they were met by gunshots which they were able to evade. By the time police made it inside the home, they found the lifeless body of 71-year-old Belizean American retiree William Maxwell Smith, who was the homeowner. 2 persons were detained after receiving gunshot injuries and today await charges for this home invasion turned murder.
Upon police arrival at the location, they came under fire by those persons who were engaged in the home invasion. The police returned fire and one of the individuals was caught to the leg and he was subsequently detained by the police. A search of the house that was being burglarized, the police found the lifeless body of the homeowner, one Mr. Smith, with gunshot injuries. Also, there were a number of persons, including the wife of the now deceased, and they gave the police certain information. Based on the police observations of the scene, as well as information shared with the police by those who were present, police launched an intense manhunt for a second suspect. That second suspect is now in police custody. And there were 2 firearms stolen from the home of Mr. Smith during the aggravated burglary. Those 2 firearms have also been recovered by the police, as well as one of the weapons used by the burglars when they entered the home. That weapon was also recovered by the police. And so at this time, the investigators are putting the pieces together. And hopefully, we should be able to lay charges against those 2 individuals today, as well as some who we believe were involved in the setting up of the entire matter. They will be charged for conspiracy to commit aggravated burglary. At this time, 2 suspects have gunshot injuries. One of them we believe was shot by the homeowner, but ballistic is going to confirm that. And the other one we believe was shot by the police while he was escaping from the scene. So there is where we are with that at this time.
As a well-known businessman and former diplomat, Smith's family say he might have been targeted by persons who knew him.
On Sunday around 10 o'clock in the morning, my eldest son, he called me and he told me that he heard that there were some shots in the area on top of the hill, and he asked me that to find out exactly what the shots were all about. A couple minutes later, I have another friend of mine that texts me, and he asked me that if everything was okay. At the same time, I never knew what happened. I was still at home. From there, I took and I went down by the police station, and that's when I saw one of the workers from my dad, and he came out and his eye was red, looked like he had been crying, and he told me that that he is sorry for what had happened and begged condolences to me in the loss of my dad.
What exactly happened?
From what I heard, from talking to the police, it seems as if though there were some guys that went up there to orchestrate some kind of robbery, and that's the home invasion that we all heard of what had happened, you know. So that's what the police told me, that 2 guys were in the house and they had held my dad and my aunt and the other persons. They had held them hostage. But from my basic knowledge of what I know, he always goes back to the States, back and forth, and he's an icon here in San Ignacio, and everybody knows that he is a man that lives in the States, and that he is building and attract attention to many around the country, and that probably sparked some kind of attention to people that he's back and forth to Belize and the States. And probably that's why he became a target.
So when did he come back to Belize this last time?
He left in December, and then around the 17th of December, and he came back somewhere in February. So he's been here like a month now. He was a very well-known, prominent person here in San Ignacio. He held a high position at United Nations, working for Belize for many years. And he is a retired person from the UN. He used to live in New York, you know. And now he decided that he wanted to come to Belize to build a resort, and you know, to come and retire here in Belize. And that's who he is. But he was a well-known person and gave a lot of job to people here in Cayo.
Commissioner of Police Chester Williams today also assured the family that police will continue their investigation to ensure that all persons involved in this deadly incident face the full extent of the law.
I will commend the police in San Ignacio Town for the exceptional response. I think that the officers were very brave in how they responded. They were also diligent, as well as the investigations they conducted after the incident occurred was also exceptional, and I say thanks to them for again demonstrating to the public that even though the situation was a bad one, the family can breathe a sigh of relief to know that those persons who are responsible for what transpired are going to face swift justice, because we're going to make sure that we put together the investigation file as quickly as we can and get it to the DPP office for prosecution. And so again, want to assure the family that the police will do what needs to be done to make sure that we put forth the best possible case before the courts to secure a conviction at the end of this matter.
There is dangerous weaponry potentially on the streets after a burglary which occurred overnight between Holy Saturday and Easter Sunday. Thieves apparently broke into the residence of Corny Tightrope in Los Lagos and stole items valued at $38,000. The items stolen were contained in a safe, including a semi-automatic rifle, a pump-action shotgun, and live rounds. The safe also contained laptops, jewelry, liquors, cell phones, and more. The burglars also stole a DVR, which contained footage captured by surveillance cameras. The suspects reportedly cut the wire of the chain-link fence and then pried open the burglar bar and wooden doors to gain entry. Police investigation continues. There is good news for Belizean consumers tonight, as the price of liquid petroleum gas LPG will see a decrease of 3 cents per gallon effective Wednesday, April 12, 2023. We must note that this is the second decrease in the price of LPG in less than a month, as prices for the commodity saw a dip of 25 cents in late March. This means that the wholesale price for LPG will now be $3.82, down from $3.85. In urban areas, the retail price will be $1.24 per pound, or $5.42 per gallon, down from $5.45 per gallon. Prices in the rural areas will decrease to $1.26 per pound, or $5.52 per gallon, down from $5.55 per gallon. According to the Supplies Control Unit SCU in the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise, the decrease of 3 cents per gallon is a result of a reduction in the acquisition price of both butane and propane. Coming up next, Belizeans flocked to the Mexican side by the hundreds, but they were met with new regulations. Stay tuned.
Come on!
When hungry or craving, when laughter or tears, enjoy the best snacking or flavors are here. Asadas, bocadas, chiladas, doradas, Belizean for snacking, done right and done here.
Done right, done here.
Indulge the flavor. Go beyond meat. Looks like meat. Tastes like meat. But it's better than meat. 100% plant-based. Rich in protein, 50% less saturated fat, no GMOs, no added soy, packed with benefits and sustainable. Beyond meat, good for you, good for the environment. Now available in 6 different types of products in Belize. Beyond burger, beyond sausage, beyond beef, beyond chicken nuggets, beyond chicken tenders, beyond steak, beyond meat, distributed by United Distributors Limited.
The Belize Police Department is tonight mourning the death of one of their own. Police Press Officer Assistant Superintendent Fitzroy Yearwood suffered a massive stroke that compromised his health and had to be hospitalized at the Carl Husher Memorial Hospital on Sunday. While his fellow colleagues, family, and friends were hoping for the best, Yearwood passed to a better life this afternoon at around 3 p.m. This morning, when he spoke to the media, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams spoke about Yearwood's condition.
It is certainly a sad day for us, as we are still awaiting a update in respect to the condition of Mr. Yearwood. Mr. Yearwood has been the face of the police department for the past 3 years, interacting with the media, doing the weekly press briefs, as well as doing other public relation matters, as may be directed by myself or OCED for him to do. And so, in a time like this where he is in the hospital fighting for his life, we want to ask the nation to please join us in prayers for him and his family. And we do hope that the good Lord is going to see him through and that he will be able to return to actual duties in due course. I know that he loves what he does as a press officer. He normally does it with a very high degree of pride and passion. And so for him to be out at this time, it saddens us, and we just want to hope for the best going forward.
Fitzroy Yearwood had been the press officer for the department for 3 years. CTV3 News also would like to send our heartfelt condolences to the family and friends of Yearwood. Other buses from Mexico and those of Guatemala will soon be transiting the roads in Belize once more. In an interview with the media, the minister responsible for transport, Rodwell Ferguson, confirmed that while those foreign buses will be allowed to work in Belize, our local bus operators will also have the opportunity to transit into Mexico and Guatemala.
I can now say that Canada gave us the directive to bring in Kyle Renate from Guatemala and ADO from that to bring passengers into Belize as tourists. So they will stop at specific location but not to pick up any visitors. Unless you are Belizean and you want to go to Florida, we can catch up that bus from a particular location across the board, up to Sapo Rosa. So it will not affect our local operators.
Are you sure?
Huh?
You don't expect backlash?
Well,
How do you police that, Minister? How do you police that?
Police that because they are supposed to stop only at terminals. So our local operators at the terminals and our local supervisors will make sure that they pick up only passengers who will across the border on both sides.
So have our local operators been notified and...
They have been notified, but hopefully by next week there should be a press release to see exactly what we're going to do.
And how many runs are we talking about?
I think it's 1 run per day, and they will eventually be 2 runs per day from Mexico City.
The other angle, Minister, of Belizean operators being able to do the same going into these other countries?
I show in Guatemala, there are terminals we can go as far as close to 10. But I guess some operators might be scared because Guatemala is pretty rough when it comes to going in there. I came back from Mexico a month ago, and they have agreed that we can only go 20 kilometers into their country.
20?
20 kilometers the Mexican government. That's why we can go to Chetumal every day if you want to.
Okay. Okay, so our operators are okay with that?
Well, that's what the Mexican government is saying. We can't go beyond 20 kilometers.
But then we allowed them to go how many kilometers?
They have a big economy, okay? We are a very small economy. We are trying to figure out
precisely because of that, Minister.
Yeah, they dictate the pace. They have a very big economy. We are trying to figure out how we can increase our tourism numbers in this country.
An official press release will be enacted this week with the details of the agreement for foreign buses. The long Easter weekend traditionally sees an influx of Belizeans traveling across the Mexican border. This year was no different. However, Belizeans took to social media expressing concern and dissatisfaction over a new and unexpected change in the immigration regulation in that country, which requires Belizeans wishing to spend more than a day in Mexico to show proof of hotel reservations. Today, our newsroom confirmed with Belize's Honorary Consul in Chetumal, Dr. Luis Maldonado, that the change is being implemented by Mexican immigration as a measure to tackle the influx of persons using Mexico as a transit point to the USA. Now, while the new regulations did catch many travelers by surprise, Maldonado says it did not significantly affect Belizean tourism in Mexico over the weekend. Adding to their ongoing movement to reduce the stray population in our community, the Orange Walk Humane Society is currently joining forces with other animal rescue groups across the country to press for a law revision on animal cruelty in our country. The need for a law revision, according to Paola Osorio from Humane Orange Walk, became more important in recent times when cases of severe animal cruelty have been brought to light. Now, while there are cases of severe cruelty against animals reported often, residents also fail to realize the small acts that some may seem as normal can also be considered animal cruelty. Things like having your pet tied up all day, leaving them under the sun, or even having breeding dogs as a form of business are most commonly seen in our community.
In most districts, there is a humane society. There is a group of persons, maybe they don't call themselves a humane society, but there is a group of persons in almost every district working for animals. You know, there have been conversations started about the revision of the animal cruelty laws. We do have animal cruelty laws, but it is not enforced. And it fills us with so much anger and impotence because if I could show you the messages of people asking us on our page, my neighbor is beating their dog. These dogs are left on the street. The animal cruelty messages are just too much. And they're like, can you help? Can you help? And unfortunately, we have our hands tied. And it's especially hard when we get complaints about people in authority roles. We've had complaints about police officers. We've had complaints about immigration, customs, certain teachers. We've had people reporting the other officers, and it really it's like, how do we answer? How do we respond? We don't have the support of the law, and sometimes same officers of the law are committing these offenses, and that just ties our hands even more. We had a case a couple of years ago where we had to beg. We were at this person's house for hours. Their dog could not even get up, and we had to beg for them to give us their dog so that we can rehabilitate the little dog. They bought the dog for $800. They said they went all the way to Paya to buy the dog, and they could not even provide veterinary care. So, you know, these are the things that anger us. These are the things that we really want to help, and we can't. We have our hands tied. So the other humane societies have gotten together and they have started conversations to start revising these laws because it's too much. It's just too much. The cruelty that we've been seeing is too much. Orange Walk doesn't have as many extreme cases as other districts, but it's there.
In order to effect change in our community, however, Osorio says pet owners need to do their part to be responsible and ensure that you are not contributing to the problem.
As overused as that phrase, maybe it does start at home. You know, how do you treat your pets? Do you treat them kindly? Do you treat them do you feed your dog enough? Do you feed your cat enough? Do you provide shade for them? You know, all of these things we have to take into consideration. Feeding them, having them in shade. I mean, the basic things count a lot. If you know that you cannot feed your pet, if you know that you don't have the resources for it, if you don't have the space, the time for it, don't get a pet. Don't get them. You know, if you can't dedicate enough time to them, don't get it. Things like having them tied excessively or on a short leash, again, that is cruelty. Having them starving, having them under the hot sun, not having them have shelter, all of that is cruelty. Another thing is, do your pets have access to veterinary care? Are you committed to taking them to the vet? A lot of people might say, oh, I don't have money to take them to the vet. But that's one of the first things we have to consider when we're adopting an animal. If this animal gets sick, do I commit myself to taking them to the vet? Do I commit to getting them vaccinated? Do I commit to having them dewormed? Do I commit to bathing them? Like I mentioned, it's very much like having a child.
The hope for animal groups across the country is to have government's involvement in the process to have animal cruelty laws enforced in our country. Want to help reduce the population of stray dogs in our community while also being the best pet owner you can be? The Orange Walk Humane Society is currently engaged in a campaign to have more animals spayed and neutered in our community. The issue of stray dogs, according to the Humane Society, has been a constant problem, one which previous municipal bodies have tried to curb within Tunisia. That, however, has always caused controversy because of the cruel nature of the practice, and so the problem has persisted through the years. The best long-term solution to this age-old problem, according to Humane, is ensuring that more pets are spayed and neutered. In 2022, the Orange Walk chapter of the group held its first spay and neuter clinic. Since then, over 300 pets, including cats and dogs, have been successfully spayed and neutered.
Our pets, they don't need to be parents. They don't. As humans, we might think, oh, they might, they're going to miss out on motherhood or on being a mom or being a dad, but they don't have that same kind of thought process as we do. They don't need to undergo, they don't need to go through birth and pregnancy. So yes, on June 22nd, the 23rd, and the 24th, we are having our upcoming clinic. It'll be 3 days. We are having a veterinary team come from Guatemala. She's already come 2 times before, and really, really excellent doctor. We absolutely love working with her. We have space for 150 pets. So as of the 15th of this month, we will start accepting deposits for people to secure their spaces. And this part I do want to make a bit of emphasis on. We are becoming strict and we are enforcing our appointment process a little bit more than we were for a previous clinic. We are requiring all pet owners to pay the deposit, which would be a $40 deposit for each pet. So if you're taking 5 pets, fine, that's wonderful, but you have to pay $40 for each. That is your minimum deposit. Once you have done that and you've gotten your receipt, we are encouraging, we're asking, making a lot of emphasis on this, that they need to send us a picture of their receipt to our Facebook page. Through our messenger, they can send that. We, unfortunately, we cannot give any spaces to anybody without proof of payment because our treasurer is handling only payments and collection of payments. She's handling that part. And then we have another person on the team handling only appointments and verification of appointments. Why we're doing this is because we've had the experience that a lot of persons might say that they want a space, they'll go pay, and they never really do, or they say they paid and we don't have proof of that. So we want to give everybody a fair chance. We want to make sure that everybody is committed to it and everybody places their full responsibility in getting their pets done.
The campaign is geared at educating pet owners about the importance of spaying their pets, both females as well as males, to reduce the number of unwanted animals which usually end up on the streets.
Up to this moment, we have spayed and neutered roughly 300 pets, both cats and dogs, males and females. So that is definitely a big victory for us, a big success for us. We're starting to see more pet owners take their male pets. At first, it was this reluctance to get males done. For some reason, there was the idea that only females need to get done, but there are so many benefits to getting your pet done. No unwanted pregnancy. We won't see as much abandonment. There's so many diseases that can be reduced and prevented by spaying and neutering, especially if you get them done before they go into their first heat for the females.
Hosting these clinics at affordable prices, according to Osorio, however, requires a lot of work and support from the community.
I also want to mention that we are volunteers. This is a completely volunteer-based group. Nobody pays us to do this. We have our own pets, we have our own families, we have our own responsibilities. So if at any point we don't maybe answer a message immediately, or if we can't see every case in town, or if we cannot collect payment for a stay at that given time, it's all volunteer based. We want the community to be very aware that it's volunteer based. Nobody pays us to do this, which is why we're becoming so strict when it comes to the payments and sending the receipt over to us. We need to cover so many things: anesthesia, materials, transportation. There's so much that goes into the clinic. And a lot of times, if we don't have the funds from persons paying their deposit, it really holds us back. So we want the community to be very aware that we are volunteer based. We have 150 spaces. It will be in June, so they have more than enough time to go ahead and start making their deposit. The balance will be paid on the day of the clinic. Our vet also she does a checkup on every pet first to make sure that they do qualify. In the event that they do not qualify, the deposit will be reimbursed for your pet. We are also accepting donations and volunteers if anybody would like to help.
You can do your part to help the Orange Walk Humane Society to accomplish their goal of reducing the stray population in our community which needed donations or volunteering. You can reach out to the group via their Facebook page or with any member of the group. The National Agriculture and Trade Show NATS Committee, under the auspices of the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise, have announced the winners of the Farmer of the Year 2023 competition. The winners are Senior Farmer of the Year Adrian Bartley of the Belize District, Female Farmer of the Year Esmeralda Stanley of Toledo District, and the Junior Farmer of the Year went to Alex Perez of Corozal District. The National Agriculture and Trade Show 2023 will be held on April 28, 29, and 38 under the theme Innovations in Technology, Driving a Climate Resilient and Competitive Agriculture and Food Sector. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Wednesday, April 12th here on CTV3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read the text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at CTV3NewsBZ. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at CTV3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.